Bitcher Van Baskerville used to be one of the biggest assets of the Baskerville family. He was known as the Hound of the Baskerville clan. The hunting hound of the family met his demise, even though he was loyal to his clan and father, because of some false accusations of colluding with demons. Thus, he was cut down by the blade of the guillotine and met his painful fate. Bitcher Van got totally devastated to get such a result for all his loyalty and faith in the clan. Under the blade, he promised himself that if he had another chance at life, he would never again live the life of the dog that's killed after the rabbit hunt is over. Suddenly, Bitcher noticed that he had been transported to a different place. His body felt heavy, and annoying noises were all around him. He has returned to the body of a newborn baby. It was the grand mansion of the Baskerville clan. Apparently, it belonged to the head of the Baskerville clan, Hugo Le Baskerville. Hugo wonders if this batch of children is just a bunch of trash. He suddenly notices Bitcher Van as he was silent unlike the other children. Hugo Le ordered a servant to move the babies to the Cradle of Swords. Bitcher couldn't ignore the existence of Hugo Le Baskerville. He was the main culprit behind the false accusation that got him executed in his previous life. Bitcher was now able to process what had happened to him. He realized that he had regressed to the Bitcher Van when he was just a little baby. Bitcher's previous life was full of hard work and misfortune. He was born as an illegitimate child of the clan and was trained in hard enrollment. A hound must be loyal and dedicated to the mission. Assassination, ambush, and all other kinds of dark or dirty deeds must be taken care of by the hound to turn Baskerville into the 7th greatest of the 7 great clans. Bitcher used to have only one reason to keep going and staying loyal to the clan to get acknowledged by Hugo. Bitcher further recalls that 10 years after the gate to the demon world had opened, the long war against the demons ended in the humans' victory, but the reward for the Hound of the Baskerville clan, who always presented the clan with lifelong loyalty, was death. The only reason the Hound was executed with false accusations was because he ended up learning too much. Even though Bitcher wants to wreak revenge instantly, he can't do much with the body of a little baby. Suddenly an idea struck his mind. Moving to the Cradle of Swords can be a huge opportunity for Bitcher to grow stronger. The sword cradle ceremony is a must-have ritual of the Baskerville clan for every child born in the family. The newborns are thrown into the labyrinth of swords. They are then tested on their potential as they head towards the river Styx across it. The river Styx is a legendary river that can strengthen a baby's body like steel. However, there is a limit to the number of children of babies that can receive the blessings of the Styx River. In order to reach the Styx River, Bitcher knew he was required to move in a straight line, unlike last time, when he was determined to win and not get pushed around by his siblings. Bitcher ran towards the river with all his might as fast as he could and fell in the river. As he took a dip in the river, the water of the Styx River started entering his body through the wounds and even entered his bones. Bitcher wanted to stay in the water for as long as he could. He knew that this one step alone could make a huge difference in his life. The people outside who were witnessing all this were now scared. They couldn't believe that he had spent so long in the water. They were scared for the master's life. Hugo Le asked his head butler, John Barrymore, how long it had been since the baby entered the river. Hugo was amused to know that it had been 7 minutes already. He wondered if the baby might just die in the river. He came as close to the river as he could and then asked the baby to return. Bitcher was able to understand and identify that it was Hugo's voice, but he refused to come out of the water as he knew that this was his chance to get as strong as he can. The baby boy started drinking the water until he passed out completely. Hugo pulled Bitcher out of the name in pure amazement, and he praised the kid for not only plugging the baby in the river but even drinking it to the point he passed out. Bitcher even grew a set of teeth while going through this process. Hugo asked the butler his name. Hugo announced that the Baskerville clan has given birth to a very greedy son, while on the other side, Bitcher considered this just a step towards his work and a way to sharpen his fangs to fight against Hugo. He promised himself again that he would now bring the Baskerville clan to its lowest point and make the clan fade away from history. Bitcher Van Baskerville has always been a prodigy for the world outside. At the small age of 8, he possessed the talent to be called the genius of the world, but inside the clan, it was just average. At the age of 20, he received missions that were usually assassinations, gathering information, or subjugations. By the age of 29, he fell behind when compared to the talent of the main house and felt he had hit the limit of his swordsmanship. At the age of 30, the gate connected to the demon world opened, and the invasions of the demons began. When he reached the age of 35, he had survived the era of ruination and had killed demon after demon. At 39, after the long war, it finally ended with humanity's victory, and then the Hound reached the age of 40 and received the rewards for his loyalty as the hunting dog. which were false accusations and then execution. On the other side, Bitcheer woke up in his cradle, and as he was getting a bit happy to be successful in absorbing the Styx River, a nanny approached a cradle and kept a beautiful, shiny box in it. She wondered why Madame would give a gift to an illegitimate son like him. The moment she left, the box opened, and two dangerous-looking black mambas appeared right in front of Bitcheer. They were a rare kind of poisonous snake. Bitcheer instantly recognized what the plan was as he absorbed the river water. The madam is trying to reduce any competition in front of his offspring. Bitcheer held both the mamba snakes by their necks and choked them to death with his brute strength. The next morning, everyone was terrified as well as shocked to see Bitcheer, a child, laying so calmly beside the corpses of two dead mamba snakes. The nanas that were tasked with night duty were tortured and executed, but the reasons for the snake corpses weren't discovered. After that, 8 years passed quickly. Bitcheer and the other siblings were sitting on the ground while a teacher was teaching them on the board. The teacher started his lecture about the stages of swordsmanship. The teacher informed them that if they can't imbue mana within their sword, they are a sword beginner. Once they can imbue a bit of the mana on the sword, they will be considered a sword expert. And once they are able to let the mana flow out in an aura, they will be called a sword graduate. Finally, when the aura can solidify and change form based on the swordsman's will, such people are called sword masters. The teacher told the students that the head of the clan is also a sword master and is also the best swordsman in the clan. The teacher's eyes fall on Bitcheer, who is deep in thought. He has been noting Bitcheer's growth from a very young age, and he also knew that Bitcheer was the one who strengthened his body for 7 long minutes in the river Styx. He knew that he was different from all the other children of his age and wondered how elated the clan master would be when he learned about the achievements of Master Bitcheer. While Bitcheer was thinking about his next move against Hugo and how many years he would need in order to kill Hugo, the triplet siblings of the Baskerville family glared at him with their evil looks. The brothers took Bitcheer to a bit of an abandoned corner where nobody would find them. The brothers tried to humiliate Bitcheer as they called him an illegitimate child, but they mentioned that they had heard a rumor about him. They asked him if he had actually submerged himself in the river for 7 minutes, and he even killed 2 poisonous snakes in his cradle back when he was just a newborn baby. Bitcheer remembered these 3 brothers. They were the ones who backstabbed him and put false acquisitions on him. They were nicknamed Hugo Le Baskerville Trident. Bitcheer remembered that these 3 brothers were the ones who would become a tricky enemy for him in the next 10 years. He also thought that he must take out these brothers right now, as it will be easy to pull out the weeds before they take root. One of the 3 brothers told him that if he had been submerged in the river, he must have had a body made of steel, and would be strong enough to resist a stab from the knife. As one of them got ready and held his mouth, he also bet that if he was able to wet the tab even for a minute, then he would eat his own hand. After about 10 minutes, the 3 brothers were really scared, as they were not able to hurt him even a little bit. They tried to get away from him as this started making them scared. As they were about to run away, Bitcheer held one of the hands and twisted it, which broke one of the brothers' fingers. The brothers said that they wanted to avoid any conflict and that they needed to go to the priest to fix their brother's finger. When Bitcheer told them that they couldn't go away, they started attacking him, but none of them were even close to his capabilities. They started pleading to let them go as they were older brothers and were 1 year older than Bitcheer, but were denied by saying that in the Baskerville clan, age doesn't matter. He again repeated that in the Baskerville clan, as long as you possess power, strength, and talent, age does not matter. One of them shouted that the rumors were true as Bitcheer started knocking out all of them one by one. Bitcheer told them that all of them will get handicapped at this rate, so he will be generous with them and let one of them go. It is up to them to choose whom they want to escape, and the others will get beaten. The brothers crumbled upon themselves as their trust in each other started breaking, and they lost their unity. On the other hand, the head butler informed the clan head about the clash with the mortuary clan at the Ruby Mine and also mentioned that the mortuary clan is claiming the Ruby Mine as part of their territory. The clan head told him that there would be an upcoming opportunity for them, and the mortuary clan would be reaching out to the Baskerville clan first. When the clan head asked if there was any other news the butler wanted to tell him, the butler told him that in the upcoming midterm exam, young Master Bitcheer took first place. He asked the butler when the practical exams of these children will be held. The butler answered that the practical exams will be starting in 5 days. He also informed Hugo that the children's castle guardian knights are on a trip to prepare it, after which the children's castle will be complete. The butler asked for the clan leader's attention to tell him about the recent big fight between the children and the castle. He further told the clan leader that none of the young masters died, but High Bro has severely damaged teeth, Mid Bro's jaw has sunk in, and young Master Low Bro's left index finger has been cut off. The butler continued and said that even though the triplets have recovered from their injuries from the priests, they have taken a huge toll and suffered mental damage because of the event. The clan leader wondered why they would fight against themselves as, from what he could remember, the triplets were really close to each other. The butler informed the leader that they haven't fought with each other to be exact, but instead they have fought with another one of the siblings. It was young Master Bitcher, whom he just mentioned as having topped the written exams and gotten first place. The clan leader, Hugo, had no choice but to call Bitcher to his room and meet him to satisfy his curiosity and be more amazed. The clan leader told him that he had grown a lot since he last saw him. Bitcher greeted the clan leader, not showing even a bit of the hatred that has been bottled up inside him for so long. He asked Bitcher about the recent case of the triplets he crippled in the advanced class. Bitcher asked how they were crippled as they had already received appropriate medical treatment. But the clan leader was not talking about their physical state but their mental state, which had been crippled. He told Bitcher that since the event, the three brothers have stopped talking to each other, and beside that, they have stopped eating together. It is a loss to the clan, as their three-way combination was a work of art, but now they can't do it because of Bitcher's deed. Bitcher continued to question the clan leader, noting that he was stronger than them and asking how someone so powerful could make a mistake. The clan leader told Bitcher that his big brothers had entered the room before him and had generously forgave him and asked if he was feeling guilty now. As Bitcher heard this, he recalled an event from his previous regression. The last child of the clan that has perished in the Baskerville clan came to meet Hugo directly. She, who had become a nun after all those years, came to tell him that she had forgiven him for all he had done to her clan. Hugo's response after hearing that was rather different. He replied by saying that he believes that forgiveness is nothing more than the sorry excuse of the weak who can't get revenge. Hugo was somewhere in his heart impressed by Bitcher's words, and he praised him for clearly understanding the motto of the clan and its ideals. He asked Barrymore to take Bitcher to the food warehouse and provide him with whatever snack he wants, but just make sure that he only takes the amount he can carry by himself. As Bitcher and the butler were about to leave the clan head's room, he wished Bitcher luck on his midterm assessment and also asked him not to lose to anyone from the main house. Bitcher had asked to eat chocolate in front of the clan leader, so the butler presented him with special chocolate that the young girls of the mortuary clan, who are rumored to be gourmets, enjoy. The butler told Bitcher that these are high-quality products the clan has acquired with great difficulty but was denied by Bitcher as he didn't need any processed food. He told the butler that he needs cacao beans instead and mentioned that they must have a strong flavor. The butler and other chefs were confused to hear Bitcher's request, which he confirmed if the young master wanted unprocessed beans. After that, one of the chefs presented Bitcher with a bloody bean, a kind of cacao bean with an extremely strong aroma and flavor. The butler was really impressed by the scene, as he thought that the young master wants the beans because he can create huge amounts of chocolate with just a small amount of bean and that he must be really in love with chocolate. The chef, after presenting the beans, asked him if he should take the seeds and process them now so that they can have chocolate after processing them properly. But Bitcher denied the offer. He told the chef that he did not require the beans to be processed. The butler then realized that the reason for asking to get the beans was not so that the young master could have chocolate, but instead, it was for some other reason that was still anonymous and related to the practical exams. It would be revealed 5 days later. Bitcher gave his scary, evil-thinking look to everyone as he wondered how the massive incident that will take place during the practical exams, which will completely shake the Baskerville clan from the inside, would be. The Baskerville clan was also known as the Berserker clan out in the world. Children in this clan were put in high-difficulty training programs. They had to climb up a steep mountain for basic stamina training after learning how to walk, and resting wasn't allowed outside the designated time. At bedtime, they would have to sleep with the corpse of a demonic creature or a baby demonic creature in order to adapt to the tough environment. Once that period ended and the children turned 8 years old, the young hounds would be faced with assignments with gruesome difficulties, and that was why the Baskerville clan started being called the Berserker clan by the people outside the world. This is also why the children of the clan were known to be extraordinary and highly talented in their range of fields and skills in comparison to the world outside. Practical assessment is also called the survival exam, like when the young hounds gathered at Mount Larange in Lenoir, a mountain filled with demonic creatures that were captured from the borders of the territory. The clan instructor informed the students that the contents of the practical exam are simple. Everyone should survive here for a month and hunt as many strong demonic creatures as they can. They must only keep these two things in mind and move along with the month. The hounds will be awarded 10 points for successfully saving someone's life and 30 points for saving someone's life without being heavily injured. 50 points will be given to the hounds who survive by eliminating other young hounds roaming around in the mountain, and 70 points will be obtained by those who hunt down a demonic creature and survive. The hounds that meet all the conditions that were mentioned before will be awarded 90 points. In addition to all these rules mentioned above, every hound will be given a special badge, and collecting those badges will lead to some bonus points as well. Points if one dies, and there are no ways to get 100 points. The teacher bid the hounds farewell as he reminded them to keep the clan leader Hugo's ideals and teachings in their own minds before taking any action or making a decision. Letting your guard down for even a second will lead to death for the respective hound, so they must keep their guards up at all times and be alert to their surroundings. The clan instructor advised all the hounds to make sure that they stay within the restricted area only, as Mount Le Rouge and Le Noir have many dangerous and hidden locations that have not been explored yet. He also told them to stay within the area and hunt the monsters they have subjugated from the borders as they have been caught, while keeping the hounds' level in mind. The other children who were standing in the group were staring at Bitchir, as they had heard that he was the one who stayed in the river for 7 whole minutes. The master signaled the start of the exam by ringing the bell he had in his hand. Every single hound started running to different places in order to acquire a suitable location for them that would be advantageous to them in the latter part of the competition. The triplet brothers were still not able to keep their minds cool. They couldn't bring their unity back and were fighting with each other. As the instructor had mentioned before, teachers were hidden all around the area and were marking the students according to the actions they took. Young Master Bitcher reached an unexplored area first as he came across a huge tree that had soft soil near it. Bitcher was considering the exam as a small vacation as he collected wood and slept in peace while others were fighting different monsters and competing with other hounds. The teacher assigned to Bitcher was really confused to see his actions. All he did was sleep, dig holes, hunt for food, and gather firewood. The teaser wondered if he just plans to kill time and isn't actually some kind of smart genius. Bitcher was one step ahead of the teacher. He was waiting for him to get bored and leave the place. And once he left, the right plan started. Bitcher recalled the time when one of his friends told him that cacao seeds were the best ingredient to remove the gamey smell from meat, especially concentrated bloody beans. Bitcher threw some of the beans in the huge fire he created and was relieved to think that the hindrance was finally gone. Bitcher was ready to hunt people, as he had already dug up so many traps for those who would get attracted to the smell. Bitcher moved forward to an unexplored area. It wasn't much of a surprise as this place was just his backyard in his previous regression when he was a scout. Bitcher noticed the scorching scent that stings the nose and the dead, burnt roots, and he knew that this place was the habitat of that creature. He suddenly observed a burning excretion and was sure that what he was trying to find was here only. There is only one kind of demonic species around here that excretes this kind of excreta. Bitcher smiled and looked at the huge creature right in front of him as he recalled how he was really pushed into a terrible position back when he was a scout. But now he just welcomes the hellhound. The huge, burning creature barked as all the fire in him oozed out. Any normal dog would have gotten scared the moment he would look at this kind of monster, but Bitcher stood straight and fearless even in front of it, as it was not such a big matter to him. Hellhounds are demonic creatures that have consumed the hellfires of the oil hell. During Bitcher's previous regression, he could only fight one hellhound by himself until he reached the age of 18. He knew that a head-on fight would be too much for his small 8-year-old body, but he knew a method that would let even children defeat a hellhound. The first weakness of the hellhound is that it can only move in a straight line. He has a hard time following sharp changes in direction due to his massive body. While Bitcher was thinking all this, the hellhound rushed towards him to attack, but Bitcher easily dodged him and moved towards the second weakness of a hellhound. For some reason, few demonic creatures can cross water. They would avoid crossing water irrespective of how little of it there is. As he said that, he took out a bottle and threw it in front of him, which slowed down his progress as he was not able to move in a straight line. The last and most important weakness of a dog-type monster is that they tend to open their mouths while fighting or running. Chocolate is poison to a dog-type monster. If it's the bloody bean that's used to make 100 liters of chocolate, it would have immense effects on the body of the dog. Bitcher threw one bean in the hellhound's mouth, and the moment he did that, the dog fell down on the ground and was not able to move at all. Bitcher took out his sword and started wondering where he should cut the dog to kill him, as its ribs are really tough and one can't cut through them. The weak spot is the kidney. Bitcher slaughtered the dog and gained a lot of the demon creature's experience, also known as karma. Karma helps strengthen the body of the owner. He imagined Hugo's expression when he learned that an 8-year-old boy had defeated a monster with a danger rating of 8 or higher by himself. He could already think of the reward he would ask for. It was something he could only dream of in his previous life and will help him monopolize an object nobody in this era knows the value of. As Bitcher was about to leave after cutting the head of the hellhound, he heard more of the similar growls of hellhounds. 3 to 4 hellhounds gathered around him in order to take revenge against him. But Bitcher was still not scared, as he said that he had more beans with him. Suddenly the hounds started getting scared of something, and Bitcher was totally confused to see such a phenomenon, as he couldn't understand why these hounds would get scared of an 8-year-old's killing intent. Bitcher turned back to see a huge, 3-headed dog burning with purple fire. It was a Cerberus. It was a demonic creature with a danger rating of a+, and Bitcher couldn't understand why a creature who should be in the 7th ridge was here in the 1st. Bitcher observed that the creature was bleeding and was severely injured. He understood that it must be the barbarian clan that must have hurt him and chased him down. Bitcher saw a huge opportunity in this case. He knew if it was an A+ demonic creature, he needed to bet everything he had. Bitcher has been hiding his skills within the Baskerville clan. His mastery of swords has already reached the level of a high sword expert. His mastery of the Baskerville Third Fang had already reached the level other hounds would reach way late in their adulthood. He took out his sword and ran towards the Cerberus and started attacking him. He was confident in himself and knew that if it was an injured animal, he could defeat it with his capabilities. Or so he thought. He thought that he also had the advantage of a stronger body, but due to overconfidence, he kept his guard a bit down. The moment's carelessness led to a window, and the Cerberus capitalized using his sharp claw and hit Bitcher, throwing him by the huge tree. After he was thrown towards the 3, he lost consciousness. Now beaten, he was a bit terrified. His entire left arm was aching. He wondered if his full left arm had been toned, but it was just an injury from the clock. Bikini knew that even though he had body armor due to the river, he wouldn't be able to survive a second hit in such a difficult situation. The Vitaline hunter would always look forward to the best course of action. Now he has already understood that he can't beat him even with his skills and should use the 36-point strategy retreat. He thanked the barbecue, who enjoyed the demonic creature as he ran towards the steel fence beyond which it is outside of the boundary. He dashed towards the old shelter where he had built the bonfire. The Cerebrum followed Betchin and was caught in the trap he dug. Even though it was a close call, Betchin was able to save himself. He especially put extracts of the bloody wheel on the spikes, which were also poison to the celebrities as it was a dog-type demonic creature. Bitcher was not able to imagine that the traps he made for the pack of hellhounds would be used to defeat Cerberus. The Cerebrum didn't die even after getting hit by so many spikes and the chocolate extract. Bitcher used a wooden spear, which finally killed the Cerberus. It was not a simple spear, it was equipped with the fangs of the mamba snake that attacked him when he was just a child. Bitcher collected the mana energy of the Cerberus and wondered that the Cerberus is a gatekeeper type of monster that has the habit of protecting its territory. Usually, there is a dungeon near where he is. A dungeon is a special hidden place inhabited by powerful demonic creatures and a strange space that holds various types of treasure. Bitcher covered his body with the scent of Cerberus so that he could avoid confrontation with most of the demonic creatures in there. He followed the traces of the monster back to his lair and was able to locate the dungeon. He recalled that he was here in his previous regression, and the dungeon will be found 10 years from now. But it will be empty. The case was different this time. He entered the dungeon and could smell the decay and the scent of mana from it, referring to the fact that it hadn't been cleared yet. He moved deep into the dark dungeon, where even light couldn't enter properly, in hope for great treasures. He observes that there are ruby veins in multiple locations. In the wall, which seems to be connected to the Red Fang Mountain, which is a branch of Mount Etla Noir, he suddenly notices some light coming out of the end of the passage. The long and dark passage opened up to a huge hall that was lit up artificially. Bitcher knows that it is bright inside the dungeon because of the contraction that releases light by absorbing mana and sending it to Ruby. As he came closer to the huge ruby that was emitting red light in the whole hall in the center of the area, Bitcher realized that someone had already entered the dungeon before him when he saw a dried-out skeleton lying in the hall. He could observe that the person entered the dungeon quite some time ago, as all his blood has already dried out, and he also observed that there were injuries all over the body as if it had been hacked at by a wildly swung knife. He saw a letter lying beside the skeleton, which said that the person's name didn't matter right now, so he would give himself the vague name Cain. Bitcher was able to recognize the penmanship of the letter, concluding that the person was surely a member of the Baskerville clan. The story continued as Cain said that he is recording his experience in this letter so that others who come to this dungeon don't make the same mistakes he did. He wrote in his letter that the Baskerville clan has a legend that says that this place is an ancient dungeon, Cain and his younger brother Abel stumbled upon the dungeon as they overcame innumerable trials and reached the dungeon. They killed numerous groups of monsters, making it to the stone chamber, but were stopped by this ultimate riddle they confronted in the stone chamber. This riddle had tied them for 3 years. The riddle said that what entered was once one, but within has become only one as one may leave. The two brothers figured out that the riddle must be telling about them as they were twin brothers and they were also one in their mother's womb. But now they have split into two. They concluded that in order to get out of the dungeon with the reward, they must kill one of them, and the left one would take the reward. Both of them had ferocious and terrible duels with each other, and Cain was able to kill his younger brother. But things didn't happen as they were expecting. Even after killing his younger brother, he didn't receive any of the rewards. Big brother died in the regret of killing his own brother and is now here to inform his brave descendant that they must go back, and all this dungeon does to them is increase their greed. Bitcher was instantly able to understand that the two brothers were not able to figure out the true meaning of the riddle, as all the dungeons in the world have a way to clear them. He was able to understand that by two, the dungeon meant his shadow and him. As at first there was no light, there was no shadow, but the moment he entered the huge stone room, a shadow formed. The answer to the riddle is not to kill each other but to destroy the huge ruby that was placed in the center of the room. And the moment it was destroyed, light was emitted from all of the places and a door opened. The door opened to a small room of cave relics in the shape of a sword. It was written below the sword that only the bloodline of the Baskerville clan could draw this ancient sword. The name of the sport was Beelzebub. He remembers seeing an illustration of this relic in a book on mythology during his youth, and learning that this sword was made by the flies of gluttony. In the ancient times of the unprecedented great demons who invaded the continent, there were 7 of these calamities, which were called the demon constellation. In order to stop the 7 calamities, the leaders of the 7 great clans each stepped up and fought one of the demon constellations. The demon that was faced by the Basker village was the fly of gluttony, Beelzebub. The remains of the subjugated demon were sealed away in the territory of the Baskerville clan, and the diverted energy that the demons generated caused the monsters to gather, or at least that is how the legend goes. But no one currently believes in it. This time the sword will be owned by Bitcher, as he held the sword and pulled it out of the stone in which it was fixed. The sword was made from the remains of the demon constellation as it became one with Bitcher. Bitchen stopped smiling as he wondered how strong he would be able to get in this life, and also as he looked forward to defeating the clan that backstabbed him. Bitcher was just thinking if there was anything else he could gain from the dungeon when suddenly his whole body started shivering and grumbling from inside. It felt something like hunger, as if the sword of gluttony was telling him to feed it something. The relic started pulling him towards some object as if it had found something. The relic was able to find a proper source of food for himself as it dragged Bitcher to the corpse of the hellhound he killed before. The relic sucked in all the blood left in the corpse, and he wondered for how long the relic must have been starving for. It is possible that all the withering trees and dry land in Mount Larange and Lenoir were caused by Beelzebub's insane hunger. After completely satisfying its hunger with the blood of the hellhound, the relic gained an ability called hemorrhage. Beelzebub, a gluttonous fly, was known for his ability to turn an opponent's abilities into his own. It could absorb an unlimited amount of skills, and those who lost their abilities would be utterly destroyed. Hellhound Hemorrhage is a skill that lets the owner make even the smallest of the scars pull out an obscene amount of blood. The moment Bitcher moved towards the corpse of the Cerberus he killed, Beelzebub started feeding on it too. The relic gained incineration ability from the cerebrum and rapid regeneration from the corpse of the dead mouse hidden under the cerebrum. Bitcher wondered that now that he has completed preparing a demonic creature, he can just relax and wait for the assessment to end. After the assessment was over, the young hounds returned after finishing their assessment. Evaluation of the corpses of those demonic creatures the young hounds caught began. Then they were crafted into shields, swords, and other various artifacts. Everyone, including the hound instructor, the butler, and the clan head, were shocked when they got to know that young 8-year-old Bitcher Van Baskerville was able to defeat a Cerberus, which is known to be an A+ rank dangerous animal. The butler further informed the clan head that Bitcher accidentally crossed into the unexplored area during the exam. Clan heads were cleared. If it is the same demonic monster, the guardian knights of the clan will have a hard time fighting against it. The butler also clarified that the Cerberus was already injured by the attacks of the barbarian clan, and was also poisoned, but he was not able to get the exact information as Bitcher told him that he is very tired and wants to go and rest. Butler was surprised to know that this time such a great talent has emerged from the name Van instead of Laurla. Hugo is a bit different from the previous clan heads. He told the butler that he doesn't care much about the lineage and that it's the talent of the person that actually matters to him. Hugo asked the butler to call Bitcher to his room. The moment Bitcher entered the room, Hugo asked him how he was able to defeat the Cerberus on his own, to which he replied that he fed the creature some chocolate, which acted as a poison for him, and he asked for chocolate as a wish for the same reason. Hugo further inquired of Bitcher why he didn't tell everything to the butler when he asked, and Bitcher clarified that the butler is not his master and he is not meant to tell everything to a butler. As a reward for achieving first place in the practical exam, Hugo granted Bitcher a wish. Bitcher asked the clan head to let him enter the 10,000 book library, which can only be entered by the clan head, vice head, and a few other officials. The 10,000 book library is a massive library located in the deepest parts of the Baskerville clan's main castle. The library is one of the biggest libraries in the whole empire. The clan head unexpectedly accepted his request and asked him to read the Baskerville Swordsmanship 6th Fang, which is located in the 6th restricted area. Bitcher got a WhatsApp to tell him that the same Hugo who always acted rudely to him is letting an illegitimate child read the 6th Fang. The clan has never let any of the legitimate children with the middle name read any book that told them about anything above the 4th realm. Bitcher promised to himself that he will surpass Hugo this time as he knew that he can read the book, which has the true essence of Baskerville clansmanship. It was discovered in his past life and was written by the Baskerville clan's first clan head, who killed the 7 calamities. As Bitcher bid his farewell to Hugo and left the room, Bitcher finally reached the 10,000 book library. He was amazed to see the library with his own eyes, as he knew that this library has the knowledge a hound would like to gain in his life. In the Baskerville clan, no matter how much mana an illegitimate child has, they are not allowed to learn swordsmanship above the 4th Fang. It is a policy within the clan that the pawns meant to become hunting dogs can't bar their fangs from the direct descendants of the clan lineage. The ones who will become the masters of the clan Bitcher reached the 6th restricted area, where the book about the 6th Fang was locked. Bitcher recalled how in his previous life he read the theory of the 1st Fang to the 4th Fang like a madman to the point that he could correctly guess the theory behind the 5th Fang, which was never explained to him. After drawing the 4th Fang, he had to snap the flow of mana 1, because of which he was not able to draw the 5th Fang. Batchin gave the book a light read and then left for a different place where miscellaneous scriptures were kept, as his goal was not to get the 6th Frank but something even higher than that. The guards who were protecting the gates of the library so bitched him to leave the library, and inquired why he was living so early when he could go even deeper in the library and find more restricted books as he did. Within told the guard that he is done with his work and they should not worry about him and get on with their own work as he moves to the miscellaneous scriptures area. They were unaware of the fact that between these miscellaneous scriptures, a treasure was hidden. Bitcher scrambled along the books until he found the embedded learning in the book he was trying to find. It is a basic scripture for the first time that not even children of the Baskar will read because of all the pages that are turned out in the middle. It's no wonder it was classified as part of the lonely miscellaneous category. However, only Bitcher knew the true value of this book. In his previous regression, the hound unit he was part of found a strange relic inside the dungeon that was on the border of Mount Larange and Lenoir. It was a piece of swordsmanship scripture, a single toned out page from a swordsmanship scripture written in Baskerville script. And I noticed that something seemed off about this. Hugo had people search through the entirety of the 10,000 book library to find the matching book. That book was the swordsmanship scripture called Lurking Embedded Teeth, which was personally written by an ancestor of Baskerville, detailing the method on how to reach the 10th Fang. Losing his mind over the thought of gaining the 10th Fang, Hugo unleashed the hounds, searching for the whereabouts of the remaining 6 pages. Learning that the remaining pages were hidden in each of the other 7 great clans, he almost declared war against the other clans and against anyone that resisted. After countless hounds were sacrificed, Beach and his team were able to offer all the remaining pages to Hugo, thanks to which Hugo overcame the wall of the 7th Fang and reached the 9th Fang using the blood and carcasses of the hound below him as fodder. Bitcher remembered the 6 pages he fetched for the clan head, but he was not able to reach anything above the 4th Fang as he was never allowed to see the source text. Bitcher completely memorized the book as a whole. He knew that, for now, he wouldn't be able to draw the 10 fangs with this child's body, but he might have reached the 5th Fang. Bitcher focused on his mana and was actually successful in bearing the 5th Fang, even though it was a bit lacking and might need some more practice before perfection. Bitcher couldn't stop smiling as he thought about the fact that he was finally able to achieve the 5th Fang. The flowing liquid aura is the mark of a graduate. It seemed that he has evolved from a high sword expert to a low-rank graduate. Bitcher was not able to reach such a level until he was 30 years old. It's shocking that he was able to reach such limits at the small age of 8. A sports graduate is on a completely different level than a sword expert. As the gas turns into liquid form, its density increases and its ability to change form becomes less limited. He knew that his previous skill, stabbing canines, would allow him to become stronger faster, but the limits to its growth were clear compared to the lurking embedded teeth. It is a perfect bow that fuses both offense and defense and has no limit to its growth. Bitcher wondered how much office strength he should reveal to Hugo so that he can satisfy his levels of expectation and also continue to drain benefits from him. Bitcher used the magnifying glass to burn the book so that no one other than him can reach the 10th floor. He and the guards will keep it a secret between them, as the book was just a normal book from the miscellaneous part of the library. When Bitcher presented himself in front of Hugo, he asked if he was able to gain anything from the library and was shocked to know that Bitcher unlocked aura. Aura is the proof that one has truly entered the world of the sword. Even prodigies who trained without rest had to be at least 15 years old to enter the realm of a low-ranking sword expert. Hugo asked Bitcher if he would be able to show his father his new ability, as a duel was set up between Bitcher and the demonic orc. The clan head Hugo laughed as he knew that this time the orc is more sensitive and aggressive, as it was kept starving for a long time now. The audience was not able to understand why an orc which is meant to be fought by a person at least of age 15 is against Bitcher, who is just 8 years old. They expected the Guardian Knights to show up in between if something bad happens. As the orc was able to get out of these shackles, he rushed towards Bitcher to satisfy its hunger. Bitcher was easily able to dodge the orc's attack and used the opening to swing his sword to injure his arm. Even though the orc's special ability is rapid regeneration, it wouldn't get activated because of the Hellhound's skill, Hemorrhage. The orc was shocked to feel his blood flowing for the first time, as until now his regeneration ability would take care of it. Bitcher knocked out the huge orc with his final attack. Everyone was a bit shocked to see a small, 8-year-old kid like him using such a skill. The butler congratulated the clan head as the genius of this generation has appeared. He further told the clan head that even amongst all the clans of the empire, there had never been a genius like him yet. The clan head was trying to console himself by saying that Bitcher was able to win because the orcs were already worn out by the Guardian Knights, and as the orc was weakened it was not able to use his regeneration skill either. While everyone else was wondering that the orc himself was too hard of an opponent for an 8-year-old Bitcher. Suddenly, Bitcher called the clan head while standing in the center of the arena and asked him if there was something stronger than the orc to fight against. The whole arena got silent as they heard young Master Bitcher's request. So that is it for this video, guys. Hope you enjoyed it. So if you like the video, then hit that like button and leave a comment for the next part. Most important, subscribe and press the bell icon for notification. I will meet you in the new video. Till then, bye.